All right. So here we are again. We are today gonna talk about channeling and the different aspects of channeling and our different experiences of channeling. So um, I would like just to present that question for everybody. Okay, so what is channeling for you, and how do you do it, and what comes up, and go for it.
I can go.
Yeah.
The first time that I actually channeled, actually I was channeling grandpa, but at the time I didn't know, was when I was bike riding
Yeah.
because I was like in flow and I was having so much fun. And I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't stressed. I wasn't thinking about anything. My mind was so clear. And I started to hear voices and I'm like, what was that? And then it was just like a tape recorder, but it wasn't as if like it was like I heard grandpa's like manly voice or anything. It was just more like a subtle knowing and like voices, but it sounded a little bit like my voice, but it was like knowledge that was like not like I like never went to school for this stuff. So I'm like, where is this information coming from? And then
Mm-hmm.
I started to feel like kind of addicted because I was like, oh, I want to hear more. So then I would
Yeah.
just bike ride for hours in a day. I would go for maybe 3 to 4 hours at a time, just bike riding, just so that I can get into that flow state. And at the time, I didn't know, but it was grandpa like channeling like shamanic things and like shamanic knowledge and wisdom into me. So that
Yeah.
was the first time I did it.
So wait, I want to make sure, because I'm sure that's something that a lot of people are a little concerned about, because like what you said, hearing voices in my head. And yeah, we all know that that could get you into the asylum. But it's about knowing what am I listening to, and that's an important thing when you start to do channeling. Well, who am I listening to, and what am I listening to, and is it in my highest good? So I think it's important to know that those three questions have to appear. And if you start hearing again, I can say it again, with the psychology degrees, it's about noticing, what do they say? Is if they say something positive, something that is inspiring, something that is uplifting, in again, in the purest of sense, it's really important to know, okay, that's good for me. If what is their message, what are they trying to say? If they're trying to say, okay, you need to no, if it's all fear based and ego based, beware, because those are not voice. Because again, some people unfortunately have the ability, the psychic ability, and they don't have the defense mechanism to know what are they listening to, especially in the beginning, and to start channeling things that are not in your highest good, or they have a certain agenda of their own, and you forgot to do your protections. Of course, for you, Ada, what you just mentioned, of course, it's a natural progression to listen to an ancestor, especially when he gives you positive and knowledge, and here this is, and it feels good, it feels right. So I just wanted to tap onto that. It's really important. And no, you're not going to not going to hear voices in your head that are just competing voices or telling you to do wrong thing or bad things to other people. If it's like that, negative, or again, fear based, or like paranoia, that kind of stuff, then you must reassess internally, who am I listening to, what's going on, how is it in my highest good, and allow yourself to have that very clear discernment on the topic. So thank you. Jennifer, what was your, it doesn't have to be the first experience, but what is channeling for you?
I actually would really love to tag in on what you were saying because that's why I became a shaman.
Mm-hmm.
From a very young age, I was listening to the voices of the wind and I was listening to trees, and I naturally even found, the voices of darkness because it's in our world.
Mm-hmm.
And as I did my shamanic training, we learned to discern higher self from ego. We learned to discern beings of light from beings of darkness. And that was my foundation. How can I internally make sense of the things that I'm already experiencing? And when we tapped into, is this being in my highest good, we would actually have them create love or joy or a high frequency expression inside of ourselves, because low vibrational beings can't do that. They can't create love.
Mm.
They can't create joy. And so that to this day is still my tool, in addition to You know, if I'm working with a client and I'm leading them on a journey and there's a being that appears there that I find questionable, like maybe they feel a little mischievous, and maybe the client, I don't know if they are genuinely feeling joy or love, and I am, but I am normally anyway, and so I'm interacting, and just as a like a secondary precaution, I require them to tell me their name, the name of their soul. And if a being won't disclose their name, because names are very powerful, right? If you call some things name, your attention goes there, or they manifest in front of you, then I refuse to work with them and I banish them from my space. So those two things feel like fundamental foundational knowledge for channeling, because I do work with a lot of beings and I want to make sure that it's coming from the highest frequency possible, and that is peace and love and trust and awareness. And so within the shamanic Inca cross, we learn to develop and distinguish those fundamental virtues within ourselves. Like, we have to not only understand what they are and what they feel like, but create them in every part of our life so that we can recognize them energetically and see them in other people. So a lot of times when I'm working shamanically, channeling is a way of understanding what a person needs. Their guides will come through like Adas, ancestors, you know, beings that have their highest good in mind, to teach them something, to help them to grow, to help them to, you know, embody more light and purity and show up in their power. And I have to be able to understand and hear and feel what it is that that person needs or how they're off balance. And the process of harmonizing them and rebalancing them, shamanically at least, is me just listening to the guidance I'm being given. So making my mind still, making my emotions still, coming from that 0 point of my soul so that I can follow what's in their highest good. So being empty and listening to those beings that I trust, for me, is channeling.
Very cool. Excellent. You raised a lot of good points and important points that are about when you begin and when you, how to develop. And I usually call it a relationship, because it is a relationship with those beings, and especially developing once you start recognizing one of your guides, one of your beings that are there for your highest good and are here to support you on your journey, is to really develop a relationship and connect with them often. So for Ada, it is for grandpa. Isn't it your great grandpa actually?
It's my grandfather, but
it's your grandfather.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I talk to them every day.
Yeah, exactly. And in my course that I give, and I give my students too, it's like the automatic writing and channeling. It is about learning how to connect, how to develop that relationship, and how to have that daily support. Because a lot of us need a lot of daily support, whether it's by perspective, focus, know what to focus on, know how to help others, like Jennifer was saying, and get that. Okay, let's bring some information in. And Ada, as you were saying, like I have a lot of channeling that I bring into my teachings and into my courses, because it is important. It is important to allow that to flow. And right now, it's I've been approached in the past few weeks by the Orion's Light Council, and they asked me to bring some messages to humanity. So I just started doing that. So and encouraging mostly love and oneness. And you can't go wrong with that topic. And knowing that is really away from fear and separation and into love and oneness. So, and it's something that I've been talking about for in some way or form, shape or form, for a while. But it's just bringing it to the next level. So, in exploring that and in bringing that attention and energy to it, it's like you also need to have that kind of, again, dedication to, okay, let's do this, let's do it often. Because like right now, I had guests and I had from out of town, I had things, suddenly a week has gone by and like, ooh, I didn't do that. Didn't connect with the Orion's Light Council. And I know this is a crucial point. So, and they told me like, oh, it's okay. In 3 days, you have some things to handle it. And then we're going to go back to that and continue with the message. So it's important to develop that relationship. It's important to get the skill, as you said, Jennifer, to learn how to do that. Not just I'm just going to protect myself with light and everything will be okay. Yes, generally yes, but do get some guidance, do get some training, because it'll help you do it even better, even faster, and get some kind of tricks of the trade to do that. So for me, it was automatic writing. That is just the way that's comfortable for me. When I just ask them a question, I type it up. For me, it's typing. Some people it's just writing or sketching, and just let it flow. And even in that, there's some different levels and layers of whom, excuse me, what part of yourself you are connecting with. So I always have those, the guides that are the closest to me, and they're like my daily guidance. And they come to me like by now, just by taking a deep breath and okay, we're just there. And they're very, very close. And some like light councils, they require a little more, okay, I need to open up, I need to open my consciousness, I need to do a little bit of more meditation connection and opening my energies and raising my vibration a little further, to connect with, again, higher vibrational beings. So it's important to do so. And it's important to know also what is the message. Sorry, I'm keep going. But what is the message that they're bringing for you? Again, and assessing, is this in my highest good? Are they really trying to bring me to my best and highest, and how to handle things? And it's important. And if you see that in what they're sharing with you, again, it has to be, if it's in your highest good, has to be about love and oneness at some point, or some essence to it. Otherwise, if they start, again, feeding into, oh, there's this and there's that, and we're gonna, you gotta stay away from this kind of people, it causes separation, fear, anxiety, and lowering your vibrations. If you spend time in that energy, you're lowering your vibrations. And just thinking, what is the message I'm putting out there for the world? And sometimes, again, I see it in social media, people, yeah, they channel, but they're channel really lower level beings that actually, unfortunately, actually wreak more fear and havoc than goodness. And they think, oh, I'm channeling, I'm doing a great thing. But these days, most people can channel. And I see that with my clients, with my daily work with my clients. Now they have no idea, I've never done it before, but then suddenly they connect with the spirit guides and they channel. So it's not about an ability that no one has. It's the other way around. It's an ability that some people refine, like anything else, and knowing that what is their message, what is their purpose of that. And as Jennifer was saying, it's about really bringing what is in their highest good of everyone. Sorry, I've been rambling on it.
It's okay.
I was captivated.
Okay.
I guess I have a question then for you guys, for any listeners. What if they accidentally, or don't even know unconsciously, that they are channeling like lower vibrational energies? Like, what would they do at that point?
Jennifer, you were saying that already, something about that.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience with that because I work with dark energies quite frequently, in the nature of clearing them and purifying them and helping their souls cross over. So I think it's a natural part of the universe, and maybe as you're learning and you experience it, you're meant to experience it. Maybe there's something in your path that they're going to teach you, and that may or may not be a painful, uncomfortable process. In which case, if you can get yourself into a high enough vibration, like oftentimes they're drawn to you because you're not in a high vibration. So exercising, taking care of yourself, allowing yourself to have that nurturing self-love. And then if you find that your negative thoughts and feelings continue, reach out to someone in your community. Like, I feel like there's a lot to be said about having support. There's always something that I miss, like, oh, can you get that thing? I missed it between my shoulders, like, oh. And, having someone there to support you and to check you. And that's why, I have Harry and Ada and a bunch of other people that I just love, because sometimes, you do drop into low frequencies when you're in stress or when you're overwhelmed, and then something attaches to you. That's really normal. So there's a really easy thing that I've taught my 6-year-old daughter, because, public school is just full of negative energy, right? So I tell her to call upon those beings that have her highest good in mind, to make a temple of her space, and to offer her guidance and protection, and to release all attachments, all negative energies, and to bring love and balance into her heart. And she will say that before bedtime too, because she likes to travel in her dreams. And I think you can change that to some sort of variation that aligns with you, but just invoking it naturally through word, I feel like would really clear your energy field. In addition, go jogging, take a walk. Like, exercise clears your energy field.
Yes. And strengthens your light.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like, Jennifer Rose, if someone does have something like that, it just sounds like they should just move their body, setting the intention of more self-love and self-care, and that will really help them basically clear it.
And making clear statements, that's important. Clear intentions and statements that clear themselves. And for me, it's like, again, just a simpler version of that. I release all negative influences from me.
That is simpler.
Yeah. Just releasing all negative influences. And that takes care of a lot of those things that you don't even see or picked up from somewhere. And so it just allows that clearing, clearing that. And it's important to be also in a state of power and recognizing that, yes, sometimes we're channeling higher beings, much higher vibration, very beautiful, large beings. But sometimes, again, they pretend to be like that way. And again, that false light. And we need to be knowing that we have more power than they do. Mm-hmm. And that you have the power to say, you are no longer welcome here. That's it. Leave. And you have the capacity to do so, and you have the power to do so. So setting clear intentions and doing so is a beautiful thing. So thank you for bringing it up, because it's good that we have some tools here too, not just stories, but it's important tools to start and feeling that, yeah, I can do this more safely, because it's not such a precarious. We're covering the safety here, but it's once you start doing it, it's mostly fun and mostly enlightening and encouraging and motivating and inspiring. So this is what is most important here.
I would love to talk about that, because people often look at me like I'm crazy when I say that I work with people that are possessed or that have dark entities, because it's uncomfortable, right? Like, it's uncomfortable even to hear that. But I work primarily with Vajrakalaya through the Buddhist tradition, and he is this essence of unconditional love. Unconditional love. And imagine for a moment what that feels like. And so to be cradled in this space of unconditional love, like, you can go into the depths of the darkest place and offer them compassion and help their souls to find resolution when they've been in these dark, dark places for so long, maybe suffering, maybe tortured, maybe really angry and unable to process that. Suddenly, in that unconditional love space, and some of them, are so far gone that they just dissolve into light, but some of them are given this opportunity to re-enter the reincarnation cycle, which I think is just a beautiful thing to experience and be witness to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have so many questions today because I'm very interested. How, if someone is listening that don't even know how to channel at all, what would be your first, advice for them, that if they can finish this episode, they can go do it right now themselves? Like, what would that tip or advice be?
So first of all is to get into a comfortable space, fill yourself with light in some kind of a visualization and understanding that it protect yourself with a cocoon of light, and just be in that space, and then invite yourself, connect with your spirit guides. That's first and foremost, something close, something that they're already here with you. You don't have to call upon something that is outside of you. They really are inside your aura, they're inside with you and anyway. And they're there for you 24/7. So that's an easy way to start connecting and start getting that daily guidance to be in your just a better and better place. Again, develop that relationship with them. So, because once you start developing a relationship, it'll be easy to see what is in your good, what is not in your good, and they'll help with that filtering too. Having them on your side, having yourself connected with them, they'll help you. Like, should I connect with this subtly being that is trying to make a contact? and so it'll be an additional support network in that realm, to help you in that process. So channeling, again, is not only about channeling something that's outside of you or separate entities. Again, let go of that idea of separateness and allow yourself to know that it is part of you. And some people, when they channel, like whatever it is, a higher entity from higher vibrational, they really are actually channeling some aspects of themselves, of their own soul. So that's why it's so easy for them to connect with a specific thing. And here I am to teach about blah, 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 blah. It's because it is who they are in a higher aspect. So they really are not channeling anything outside of themselves, just outside of their human level of current consciousness. It's just opening themselves to higher levels of their own consciousness and rainbow of selves, as I like to call that, of each and every dimension and density that's a part of you. So it's connect with your spirit guides, connect with yourself, the parts of yourself. But easiest to start with, just from my experience of doing it with a few thousand people, is first of all connect with their spirit guides. That's the easiest.
And then through there, is it like writing, talking, whatever way that
whatever way works for you. So if it's just an inner conversation, I like to write it down because then I can look back at it, because sometimes if there's information or there's like some steps or some really clear guidance and like, oh, that was just perfect. No, they really usually speak in a very concise and deep and simple way. So it's actually lovely to see that. And it also helps, I think, me. Sometimes I feel like, okay, that's a lot of me here. But then to start bringing like deeper perspective sometimes on topics that you already know. Again, and the more aligned you are, the more you become integrated with their concepts and ideas. But when I started doing this, it was hard to, it felt like they're asking me a lot from me. But then you slowly, with the time, become more and more of that higher version of yourself, and also integrating those belief systems that are really the purest of your essence, and start aligning more and more with that message and with that part of you.
And I'd like to add that I think a huge part of that is discernment and the ability to distinguish. And I think that comes from having that quiet mind and having that quiet heart. So maybe even taking a step back to just sitting in that shield of light, that beautiful space that you're calling around yourself, and learning how to make yourself quiet, and then calling in, whatever feels good to you, and having a space where you can maybe recognize, is this something more than just my own soul? I think having a relationship with your own soul and your own awareness is fundamental. And if you can know what you are, then you can know what something else is. And I have a question for you, Ada, because I know you have been doing absolutely phenomenal channeling in groups with 20 people or more, and they're really responding to your light language. Can you tell us more about how that is for you?
Yeah, it's so interesting. It comes very, I don't even know, like, I know that I was talking to someone this weekend about how you activated my light language. And then it was as if it was like a knowing, like I started using it to speak to someone's soul. Like it was like very instantaneous. And the way that I would speak to their soul using light language is, it's literally like their higher self or their guides would come in. But as I'm speaking light language, they're showing me and like giving me feelings. So the way that they communicate back is like images. They show me everything. They show me this person's life, where they were, where they are, and like what is happening in their field. Like it bounces back to me, like as I'm speaking it bounces back to me as images. And it's just, and then a knowing, they're like, oh, this is what's happening to me, like help me, like I need you to do this for me or something. And then I would translate it, and I would ask them, like, can I tell you right now, like in this conscious space? And they were like, sometimes they'll tell me yes, or sometimes they'll be like, no, don't tell me everything. Like, I need to learn this, but like, can you help guide me through this? So they'll tell me what they need. And then grandpa's always there with me to make sure that the space is like protected. And it's like, as I'm speaking to them, there's nothing else that's trying to come in to like speak to me. Like sometimes they're entities, sometimes they have like attachments, and sometimes those attachments try to speak to me too. And grandpa's like, no, like you stay on your side of the field. I'm creating this container. So grandpa creates that container. So I just speak directly to the person's highest good.
It's really amazing. And I have had several people tell me that they have been absolutely transformed by their experience with you. They're like, oh, her voice, it just sings to my soul and it's so transformational. And I don't know what it is, but I want to do it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I have found that my light language, when I'm doing the channeling, I don't know if this happens to both of you, but when I am in a ceremonial space and I'm channeling, and I set the intention again, like of like, for instance, like the Arcturians, when I, do channelings with them, they're like, okay, set the container, set the intention. Then my guides and my ancestors, they come in, they create that space. We call all of their ancestors the participants, and they're all their guides. And we create like a cylinder of like almost like a dome. And then when I start to speak light language, I have another person, a good friend of mine, his name is David Black. And David Black, like no one's ever created, like no one's ever activated his light language. He channels like by himself. Like he's so magnificent. But we open like a portal. Like I literally see these like portal of energies. Once we start channeling, it was like energy of like codes or something. Like it's like all coming in and people are shaking and people are like wailing around. And so last time that I did it, like as the energy, this frequency from the Arcturians were coming through, it was like taking people's entities out. It was pushing out energies. Like it was doing some stuff. And David Black and I were like, oh, what is happening right now? But it was amazing. And people were just singing along. People were dancing. It was like really phenomenal when I was doing it with him. But yeah, like that's how we channel, is that like we just speak the light language. And I don't write or I don't I sing and chant. That's how my channeling comes through.
Yeah. And it does come in different ways, and just find whatever that is for you, and whatever is the easiest for you, and let it just flow, and let it flow. And so for you, Ada, I would recommend recording it. If it's singing or a song or light language, just record it, even on your phone. Every phone has a recorder these days. So just record it. And so you can listen to it later, or you can give it to the participants again if they want to listen to it again. It's really helpful. I like to do that with every thing that I do, is to give the recording afterwards, because they can either again like analyze it or listen to it again and do whatever they please with it, or let it continue and do the work on them. Because sometimes it is something, as you just shared, when you do a deeper kind of event like that in a workshop, and it's important to know that so many elements are working, and we can see that, and having that connection. I just want to make a comment on that. Like you said, like there's you have the usually a really very close mediator that can help you manage the experience, manage the workshop. So for you, it's your grandparent, grandpa, and everything. For me, it's other beings, galactic beings that has been working for me for eon with me, and we've been working together, and we're kind of equals on some other realm, but they're helping me. And it's like, okay, yeah, you need to say this now. You need to. Sometimes I don't know why I need to say this, because it'll activate a certain participant. It will move them in a certain way, or make this person a little more relaxed, so they're managing them that on a different level, and having that kind of a bridge to us, so we can do it on this level, because they can do a lot of, again, they do most of the work. Those beautiful, again, like the Arcturians and other beings of light that are here to support and humanity for the highest good and for our ascension. And But it's important to know that, yes, it's you have a role in it too as the facilitator, and your voice and your channeling and your energy you're bringing to it on a different level, different dimension that they cannot. So it's important to know that we are co-working in this and creating things and supporting each other. You're supporting their work, they are supporting our work and helping, and it's all for the benefits of the participants. So it really can bring it to a really high level. And once you do again more and more, and this is what's important to start developing a relationship in a channeling, is that because they are becoming your closest ally and supporter and protector and all that kind of stuff. So all this work becomes easier and easier, and you have to be less and less worried about, oh, there's other elements or other entities. Nah, because you're protected. And you know that, and you have those beings, and the more you do it, the more beings you have that support you and help you and protect you. It's sometimes in the hundreds when you continue and do this on a regular basis. So it really becomes almost a non-issue. I really don't have any issues with other beings that want me to channel me, because I have so much gateways and gatekeepers that it just doesn't come to my even my field. So not that I'm bragging. It's just started to be, it gets to that point.
Yeah.
It does, and I would love to talk about that
Yeah.
because I've been through the whole progression,
That's
and I
right.
feel like the point that I'm at now, like it's very much a place of oneness, because okay, you close your eyes and you're in communication with these guides, but really the entire world is made of this energy, and you are in this space constantly of co-creation with all these other dimensions and all these other experiences, because that's our life. That's literally what the universe is created from. And so I've gotten to a place recently where I have to step out into the world and trust my guides completely to guide my life in every moment. Like, they're not just going to guide me in a session, they're going to guide me step by step through my life, and in these dark places and in these bright places and in these choices that I make. And so on a very personal level, my strongest guide is the goddess Danu, and she's always, always there for me. And she really is, like your grandpa, she's my ancestor for this lineage. And she will help me when I'm being stubborn, and she will, give me the information that I need to help me progress to the next level. Like, I'm really struggling with trust, or with, finding that place of sovereignty. Well, she'll give me the steps I need to take to be able to move into that awareness. And as I, accept her help, and as I trust and I do those actions, then I begin to embody those things and my life transforms. So it's very, very pivotal. And yes, as I've learned to surrender to that trust, I feel like I can walk into any adversity. I feel like I can walk into any challenge in my life and be able to meet that, because it's really just a process of surrendering into this inner knowing that we are these infinite beings and there's nothing to be afraid of.
That's right. Beautifully said.
You guys gave me a really good idea, which I am going to do a little later. So I'm going to let you guys know. I think I'm going to record it, Harry. I'm going to record it.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Because people want to hear it again. They're like, Ada is so good at whatever that is. Like, they don't know what it is sometimes, but they're like, exactly. I want to experience it again.
Exactly. And just let it happen, and let it just become a usual thing. And that's another thing of when you start channeling more and more, is being less and less self-conscious. And that's a process by itself, to do it for yourself, first of all. This is why you have to get really comfortable with doing it for yourself first. And I know that all of you done that. First of all, you do it for yourself, for your own self-improvement. And then you start like, okay, now we can do it for others as well. And getting more and more comfortable with that space, getting more comfortable tuning into that certain vibration that you are, in which you are connecting and delivering. But again, it comes in different ways, different forms. So it could be in light language, could be just regular speech. For me, it's more of a knowing, and then it just comes out in English. But and a lot of times it's just unsaid, and just doing, and I'm working with them, and nothing, I say nothing, but I can see them doing, and I'm setting intentions as well. So it doesn't even have to be spoken word. It can be just energetic, intentional work, and doing work on a certain level, light level. So it does not have to be any particular way. It's just whatever you prefer, whatever comes to you, whatever you enjoy listening to or receiving. It's just a beautiful thing. It comes in so many different ways.
I want to throw in there that a great way to get to know your own soul is by channeling through dancing. Like you can channel your own soul and allow it to help you in the movements, and that's something that I do on a daily basis. I'm very fond of. So experiment. Ecstatic dance is a thing. It's similar to that. I do Danmu through the Taoist tradition, but I absolutely encourage some sort of relationship with your own soul. So find that.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Ada?
right.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay. So let me ask, I want to present another question for you, ladies, is what is it for? Oh, that was like, what is it for?
You go first, Ada, please.
What is it? Channeling?
Yeah.
What is it for?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's to connect to my inner truth and the truth of the universe. For me personally, I used to live very much on my left brain before I became more like of a shaman and being spiritual. And I was so disconnected to everything around me. And since I've tapped into channeling, I really started to tap into my inner world and like into the magic. I think,
Yes.
I don't even remember when I stopped believing in magic, and I stopped believing in this beautiful world of creation, and like everything is possible. I think as an adult, I used to want to, well, as a kid, I used to want to be an adult, but as an adult now, I'm like, I just want to be a kid. And like by channeling and tapping into that magical part of myself brings me back to that place of, I would like to just say it like a beginner's mind for me. That every moment is pure magic and beautiful, and I can help co-create a better world. That's channeling for me.
Beautifully said.
So perfect. Yeah, I don't even want to add anything to that. That was perfect.
Yeah. It is about connection, alignment with your own mission and purpose. And with that, it's just letting it flow through and be of service to humanity in the highest vibration. That's really it's all about. You said it beautifully. So it's all what it's for. As we explore this channeling portion, it's important, I think, for especially beginners, to not get caught in the ego of it. And I think we all went through it in some way, like, oh my God, I'm channeling this deity, and now I'm so special, or I'm so whatever it is, or I'm channeling this great beings from something way above. And people let it go to their ego a lot of times, and that's important to keep yourself aligned with your truth, with your purpose, with love and oneness, and being of service, and not just allowing it to be again of service to the ego and making you feel more important. It's not about being important, and I want to say that a lot of people who start and they already go right away put themselves on YouTube, which is great, to be honest. Took me years. I was too shy, too not uncomfortable with the fact that I think I'm crazy. I think I take off my legitimacy of something like that. But it doesn't. It's not true. And I like the fact that people go out and put themselves out there. But they suddenly think, oh, I channel Jesus. Yeah, you and another 1,000 people, because it's not limited to only you. You're not the chosen one. It's not about that. Let go of that feeling of like, oh, I'm very special. Yes, you're special. We're all special. We're all unique, and we all have and bring that beautiful spectrum to it. But doing it with not about humility, but doing it with perspective. This is not about me. I'm being a beautiful tool here to deliver this this message, this understanding, and help people. That's what it's about. So, and when you focus on that, it's not about you. It's about the message. It's about how is it improving humanity. So I think it's important to remember that.
Absolutely. And I think that that's, my number one thought throughout the day is like keeping in mind my vision for a beautiful world where we're all coexisting in this space of love and awareness. And I know that it's not some far off dream. It starts with me, and it starts with me creating it in myself and then sharing that with everyone that I interact with. And maybe I have the opportunity to interact with someone in a deep way in these spaces of transformation when I give a session or when we do a ceremony, because they're open and their hearts are ready to receive. But there's always something coming through channeling, even when I'm talking to someone at a grocery store, or when I'm being the mom, or when I'm interacting with a stranger, like just having that openness to my own internal like joy and awareness lets me to relate to people, lets me to support them and nurture them, and know that, everything I do for them, I'm doing for myself, because we are one, and I'm really a servant to this one. And that is the most honorable, most amazing thing to be, because that means that I'm in alignment with life. And that means the rhythm of life is flowing through me. And that means that I'm co-creating with this beautiful force that we all come from, the infinite consciousness. And I think that that's really important to keep in mind constantly. Like if you can keep one thing in your mind, like focus on love.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I think it's a perfect place to end here. And we'll let people know if you want to make any comments, if you want to hear a little more about more specific parts of this, please leave a comment, and we'll try and address it and talk more specifically about different things. Because again, we all have a lot of experience in this, and on ourselves, and helping with people and doing other things. So let us know what you want to hear from us, and we would love to share that with you. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk soon. We'll do this again.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.